Pakistan, interesting actually, opting to bat first as something of an experiment to see what it's like to do that. They've chased so far in the tournament and making a very good fist of it. 189 for 2. Rizwan top scorer with 79, not out. Babar 70, both of them in fine form again. Hafiz making 32 as well, not out at the end. For Namibia, it was always going to be a very, very tough task. They got up to 144 for 5. David Wiese was their top scorer, not out at the end with 43. But the net result, a very comfortable win by Pakistan, for Pakistan by 45 runs. Now, that, just have a quick look, that leaves the points table in this group, again, very much in favour of Pakistan. That unbeaten record means they have all 8 points they've played for. Afghanistan remains second, but there's still quite a lot of cricket to be played in this group. So New Zealand have only played 2 games. They've won 1, lost 1. Namibia, of course, also on 2 points. I mean, the fascinating thing still is that India, who have 3 matches left, are yet to score a point. 2 matches played, 2 losses, and if they're going to come up on the blind side, they need to improve their cricket very, very quickly indeed. But Pakistan, of course, flying high, once again victorious, and once again that means we have a very happy studio. So let's just run through who we have with us again. Azhar Mahmood is here, Rashid Latif, Umar, San Amir, Javed Richards, and Aaqib Javed. So the team is intact. No changes in this lineup for the foreseeable future. Fingers crossed. So, Sada, another very comfortable win, another very impressive win for Pakistan.
Very impressive. As we talked about, it seemed that this team means business. They want to try out things that they might face in the tournament. In the knockouts, they won the toss, batted first. It was tough for them. They fought it through, and overall, as we talked about, Hassan Ali wanted some confidence. Mohammad Wasim wanted some Mohammad Hafiz wanted some confidence, and that's what we got. I think very good thinking from the think tank, and overall a very good result for Pakistan.
Okay, well, as you said, they got exactly what they wanted from the game, victory and 1 or 2 more performances. I suppose the only man who missed out actually was Fakhar Zaman, who could have done with 10, 15 overs at the crease just to boost his confidence.
Brilliant cat also.
Yep, there we go. Indeed, indeed, there we go. Well, let's discuss various issues. Let's see what the esteemed panel made of today.
Rashid bhai, आज तो आपने red pen निकाल लिया, खैर है?
बस सुर्खे बने हुए आज.
लालो लाल है.
आपके पास भी लाल है. मिलाइए. जी.
जी.
मैच का डिक्टेट किया वैसे पाकिस्तान ने, और बहुत अच्छा किया कि पहले बैटिंग की. शुरू में बहुत प्रॉब्लम हुई है, बॉलिंग बहुत अच्छी हुई है, स्विंग हुई है, और बहुत स्ट्रगल किया. लेकिन क्या दोनों ने अपनी विकेट थ्रो नहीं की और नॉर्मली खेला इन्होंने. लेकिन गेम को जो चेंज किया, लोगों को हैरत होगी, वो हफीज ने आके चेंज किया. वो ऐसा लग रहा था कि ड्रेसिंग रूम में प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था. दोनों ने लंबी लंबी बैटिंग की, लेकिन प्रॉपरली जहाँ चाह रहे थे वहाँ पे गैप में नहीं मार पा रहे थे, प्लेस नहीं कर पा रहे थे. लेकिन आप देखेंगे हफीज आए, उन्होंने 16 बॉल ली हैं. जब ये आए थे 26 बॉलें रह गई, 16 इन्होंने खेली, 10 रिजवान ने खेली. 26 बॉलों पे 67 रन पाकिस्तान ने बनाए. तो उसका सर दोनों को ज़्यादा लास्ट ओवर जैसे रिजवान खेले वो, लेकिन हफीज ने जो शॉट मारी थी,
इस तरह की इनिंग्स
बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त टाइमिंग की है. क्योंकि शुरू में अगर 2 मैचेस देखें, 1 मैच देखें तो जोर से मार रहे हैं सामने छक्के. आज वो अपनी दोबारा जो पुरानी फॉर्म में थी कि स्क्वायर ऑफ द विकेट, यहाँ पे आपका बॉल का वेट करेंगे, आप बॉल के ऊपर नहीं जाएंगे. तो हफीज को बहुत क्रेडिट जाता है आज के मैच पर. नो डाउट रिजवान ने जो बैटिंग की थ्रू आउट ईयर या 2 साल से जो बैटिंग कर रहा है उसका कोई वो नहीं, और साथ में बाबर आजम ने भी जो बैटिंग की ये करते हुए आए. लेकिन हमें हर कोई क्वेश्चन कर रहा था कि हफीज को टीम में होना चाहिए या नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐसे बॉलर तो वो टीम में आते हैं, लेकिन आज उन्होंने बताया कि वो कितने इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं पाकिस्तान टीम में.
और ये भी अच्छी चीज थी कि बैटिंग ऑर्डर उस तरह से चेंज नहीं किया, क्योंकि ऊपर
करना पड़ेगा. फखर को नीचे 5 नंबर जाना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा
जी जी जी,
चले देखते हैं पाकिस्तान टीम कैसा सोचती है. अजहर भाई, बाबर आजम ने जिस तरह की बैटिंग की, कोई भी छक्का नहीं लगाया, पर स्ट्राइक रेट 142 का. रिजवान ने 4 छक्के लगाए, 8 चौके लगाए, एंड पे जाके एक्सेलरेट किया. क्या समझते हैं आगे आने वाले मैचेस में? शुरू में टाइम इनको लेना पड़ा, पावर प्ले में सिर्फ 29 रन पाकिस्तान बना सका पहली बैटिंग करके. तो क्या करना होगा, थोड़ा सा चेंज अगले मैचेस के लिए?
आई थिंक देखें, जैसे इन्होंने بیٹنگ کی, بہت زبردست بیٹنگ کی. اس وقت کنڈیشن بڑی مشکل تھی اور ایک دوسرے کو کمپلیمنٹ کرتے ہیں. آج رضوان پھنسے ہوئے تھے تو بابر تیز کھیلے, تو ان کی اننگز میں ہمیں وہ نظر آیا کہ وہ اگریسو بیٹنگ کر رہے ہیں. تو یہ اچھا سائن ہے پاکستان کے لیے, جب بابر پھنستے ہیں تو رضوان ایسی اننگز کھیلتے ہیں. تو آج زبردست بیٹنگ کی ان دونوں نے. اگر آپ اسٹرائک ریٹ کی بات کریں تو 158 اینڈ میں جو رضوان کا اسٹرائک ریٹ تھا انہوں نے کیچ اپ کیا, اور وہی تھا جو ہم بات کر رہے تھے کہ وکٹ تھرو نہیں کی, اور اپنی ایبلٹی پہ, اپنے سکل پہ ان کو اعتماد تھا کہ لیٹر آن جو ہے بال تھوڑا سا گیلا ہو جائے گا, بال آنا شروع ہو جائے گا, ٹائم سپینڈ کرو, بال کی شائن تھوڑی سی اتر جائے گی تو پھر اس طرح بال سوئنگ یا سیم نہیں ہوگا. تو انہوں نے کیا. جیسے راشد بھائی نے بات کی کہ صبح بھی میں نے بات کی تھی حفیظ کی نا, حفیظ کی ہمیں کلاس نظر آیا. دیر واز ٹچ ان دیٹ کہ کٹ مارا انہوں نے, دو پہلا چوکا کٹ پہ مارا, پھر جو ہے گائیڈ کیا تھرڈ مین کی طرف, اور پھر وہ کپل آف لیپ شاٹ ماری. تو وہ بالر کے ساتھ کھیل رہے تھے, مطلب ان کو پتا تھا کہ فیلڈ پلیسنگ کدھر ہے, کہاں پہ میرے گیپس ہیں, اور انہوں نے اس طرح کی اپنی اننگز کھیلی. اور جتنا کریڈٹ میں دوں گا بابر اعظم کو جس طرح کی انہوں نے اننگز کھیلی ہے, آئی تھنک ریمارکیبل اننگز.
عمر بھائی آپ کیا ایڈ کرنا چاہیں گے یہاں پہ؟
جی بالکل, جس طرح مینشن کیا اپنا رضوان نے بھی مینشن کیا کہ ارلیئر نو ڈاؤٹ آپ اگر دیکھیں دونوں میچز میں نئے بال پہ تھوڑا سا پرابلم ہو رہی تھی بیٹسمینوں کو, کیونکہ ایکسپیکٹڈ تھا جس طرح وکٹ پہ گاس تھا اور 2 میچز تھے تو اوبیسلی اس میں موسٹر بھی تھا, تو ارلی آن تھوڑا سا مشکل ہو رہا تھا کیونکہ ایک نیا بال تھا, سیم تھوڑا سا ابھرا ہوا ہوتا ہے, اور دونوں نے ٹائم لیا. اور آئی تھنک جس طرح رضوان نے بھی کہ بعد میں تھوڑا سا ایزی ہو گیا کیونکہ سیم تھوڑا سا اندر چلا گیا, پھر بال اسکٹ ہو رہا تھا وکٹ پہ, جو کہ سم ٹائم جب بال اسکٹ ہوتا ہے تو بیٹسمین کے لیے بھی وہ اچھا ہوتا ہے, بلے پہ آتا ہے. جس طرح حفیظ آتی ہے اس کے شاٹ لگنے شروع ہو گئے جسٹ بیکاز آف بال جو ہے نا وہ اسکٹ کر رہا تھا, اس سے پہلے وہ اسٹرگل کر رہا تھا, سلو پچز تھی. تو آئی تھنک یہ ایک فائدہ حفیظ کو یہ بھی ہوا کہ اس کا کانفیڈنس واپس آیا, اس کا بال مڈل ہونا شروع ہو گیا. تو یس اچھا اوور آل دونوں کا کمبینیشن دیکھ کے رننگ بٹوین دا وکٹ ایک دوسرے کو کمپلیمنٹ کر رہے ہیں, اور جس پہ ٹف ٹائم ہوتا ہے تو دوسرا اس کو سپورٹ کر رہا ہے. تو آئی تھنک ونس اگین بڑا زبردست 100 رنس کا ایک اور پارٹنرشپ جو کہ ہسٹری میں لکھا جائے گا. یہ
بالکل. سو the main couple of positives are of course Mohammad Hafiz run form again, that he's back in form. That's one of the major positives. And the other positive was it was really tough for both Rizwan and Babar in the middle, but they did not throw their wickets away, and that was quite a positive thing for both of them and for Pakistan.
Okay, thank you very much. Viv, the whole point of batting first against the trend was to give themselves the feeling of what it's like. And so they've had that, I mean, that point that Sana was making just there about Babar and Mohammad Rizwan, finding out what it's like to bat first, setting a target. That's been good experience, I'd imagine, for this tournament.
I would say it's a gutsy call. For you to have won the toss, he could have put them in and maybe the match would have been over much earlier than we expected. But they were tested. And I think this is what I think maybe it was the perfect sort of foil for them moving forward, to be in conditions that were testing. Apparently there wasn't too good a start. But as you would have heard earlier, they didn't throw their knocks away. They stuck with it. And if you back yourself towards the back end, and we saw that, you know, they were the backbone in terms of the fact with the slow start, they were still able to pick it up towards the end. And this, I think, was a perfect example for any team maybe going forward, that even though you may have a slow start, that towards the back end you can pick it up, and if you back yourself, that's the most important. And they did that today big time.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been the case, if you have wickets in hand, you have the capacity to accelerate towards the end. Where we've seen real problems in the tournament is when the first power play has seen 2-3 wickets go down and the whole momentum is sucked out of the innings. But yeah, those two, we'll look at those two later as well, look in more detail at Babar and Rizwan later. Overall, were you happy with the performance? Any sort of little bits and pieces that they could still work on?
It's good. They made a good decision to give your batters a 20 overs, batting first. Because, I mean, look, if Pakistan, teams like Pakistan or England or Australia, if they still consider a challenge from these associate countries, I think they should think bit better, isn't it? So they have a good practice, 20 overs, they played Hafiz back in business, and they experienced how to start with. Because today there was a trouble in the pitch. It was a moving, it was like swinging. So the idea is don't lose wicket. Even you made 35 in 6 overs without a wicket, you have good chance of scoring a big total still. So I think so far the teams tried to challenge the bowlers in 6 overs and losing 2-3 wickets and ending up 140 and 145. I think this is a good strategy.
Yeah.
If the situations are tough, see off those overs and then capitalize later.
Yeah. As we've said, it was a tricky start because there was a bit of life in the pitch. We saw that from the first game as well, a lot of life in the pitch earlier in the day. So there's life in the pitch, there's a bit of swing, which means you have to survive those opening overs. Now, the fella we've seen actually perform very well in this tournament so far for Namibia with that opening spell, that new ball, the left arm of Ruben Trumpelman. Again, spot on today. Spot on with his opening overs, very economical. This is what you want from anyone, whether it be one of the major nations or one of the associate nations, one of the so-called lesser nations. So he was causing problems there.
Yeah, we talked about him being the trouble man. So for the first 2 overs, he was the trouble man. 2 overs के लिए तो काफी trouble किया है इसने हमारे बैटर्स ने.
नहीं, डेफिनेटली उसकी जो लाइन और लेंथ है उसमें देखें बॉल अंदर भी आ रहा है, पड़ने के बाद बॉल बाहर भी जा रहा है, तो आई थिंक क्रेडिट गोज टू हिम जिस तरह की उसने बॉलिंग की है. और रिजवान थोड़ा सा लकी रहे, एज 2 बॉल मिस हुए, एज नहीं हुआ, लेकिन अगर आप देखें उनकी टेक्निक यही थी कि वो कोशिश यही कर रहे थे कि अंदर वाले बॉल के लिए खेलें, तो थोड़ा सा लकी भी रहे और आपको लक चाहिए होती है.
लक भी चाहिए होती है और अटेंटिव भी हैं दोनों, एक दूसरे के लिए भी. रिव्यू भी बड़ा अच्छा लिया, एक जो LBW का रिव्यू था बड़ा अच्छा रिव्यू लिया जिस पे रिजवान को आउट दे दिया था.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग दोनों की बहुत अच्छी है. नॉन स्ट्राइकर एंड का यही होता है कि जब आपको नहीं पता होता कि आपका क्या है तो नॉन स्ट्राइकर एंड और कप्तान खुद अगर क्रीज पे होगा तो वो डिसीजन ले सकता है कि आप जो है ना आपका मेन प्लेयर है तो आपको डेफिनेटली वो जो राइट डिसीजन था उनके लिए.
आई थिंक इससे एक पता ये भी चलता है कि जो नॉन स्ट्राइक पे बैट्समैन है वो कितना इन है मैच के अंदर कि उसको आइडिया हो रहा है कि बॉल किधर हिट हो रहा है, कहाँ पे बॉल पिच हुआ है. तो आई थिंक ये एक अच्छा साइन है क्योंकि एक तो आप फोकस करते हो अपने बैटिंग पे, साथ ही साथ आपको बॉल नजर आना शुरू, बॉल भी नजर अच्छी तरह से नजर आते हैं. तो आई थिंक ये भी एक अच्छा साइन है कि दूसरे एंड पे जो बैट्समैन खड़ा है वो मैच के अंदर एटलीस्ट वो फोकस कर रहा है कि बॉल कहाँ पे पिच हो रहा है, कहाँ पे, जो कि जो रिजवान को भी फायदा हुआ इस चीज़ का और पाकिस्तान टीम को भी.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. एनीवन वांट टू टॉक अबाउट ट्रम्पलमैन और?
Well, let's just ask. I mean, the people like that, when they play for Namibia, you sort of kind of assume, just plays for Namibia, but actually his performances have been consistently good.
Yeah, because
And you imagine with more opportunity, the better team.
Yeah, because other day Pakistan team, everyone seen how good triple man is. So the technique was playing late and tackling that coming in ball. That's why he got beaten
twice.
The ball swing
Outside,
away.
yeah.
So he was making sure that I'm not going to get out bowled or leg before. So that was a good strategy. And this is what, I mean, good teams, happy teams, when things are going good, they're enjoying their games, and I think they complement each other, playing for each other. If somebody's in trouble, the other took a bit charge and support him when he was in a bad phase. So this is what I think the ideal happy team, you can say, having a good time, but they should be ready for the big one when it's semi and it's pressure. Remember this mood. This is the best mood of playing, of winning the championship. And because if you have a strong bowling lineup, proper 6 bowlers, you have a very good chance of winning the tournament. Batters can win you games, but the bowlers win you tournaments.
Aaqib, तुमने कहा कि very strong bowling lineup और नबीबिया के 5 विकेट्स लिए हमने ऑल आउट नहीं किया. शाहीन अफरीदी कोई विकेट नहीं, 34 रन. शादाब 35 रन, कोई विकेट नहीं. चेजिंग में डिफरेंट स्टैट्स नज़र आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे. अगर आप बॉलिंग दूसरी कर रहे हैं, अगर हम नबीबिया को 5 आउट कर रहे हैं तो बड़ी साइन नहीं है पाकिस्तान टीम के लिए.
देखिए वो सबके लिए, क्योंकि ये पिचेस जितनी भी बन रही हैं, इवन इन शारजा, इन दुबई, अबू धाबी, अर्ली ऑन द मॉइस्चर and the freshness of the pitch, troubling the batsman. And later on, especially in the evening, the dew coming in, and it definitely is easier for the batter. But in a big game, toss will play a major role.
Okay, well, actually, now you've made that point, let's talk about that right now, because we had this discussion just before, as we were loosening up to come on to the programme, just loosening up. And there are people starting to think about it. I thought about it this afternoon. When we get to the semi-finals and final, wouldn't it be better if the games were played either in the afternoon or slightly early in the day to take away some of this problem with the toss and the dew and all the things that can skew the game one way or the other?
I think it's not only the game the people looking for big money and the time zones.
Yeah, well, okay. I understand the, what should we call it, the commerciality of the ICC World events. And yes, there are obviously time zones where they want to have the game in the evening on the television with the
Good idea.
mutton in front of you.
But it's a very good idea, but if they compromise on money.
Well, they can still, it's still, look, come on, this is a world event. This is still a world event. You can still pay the same money.
The more competitive a match becomes, the more eyeballs it will attract. Otherwise, if it's one-sided affair, people might not see the whole match. So I guess it's a very good idea to give a fair chance to both teams.
Can I say, I couldn't give,
Daylight now.
I'm not, well, maybe I should be. I am not concerned with the commerciality. The commerciality will take care of itself. We know full well that across, especially Asia, but across the world, people will watch these games. They'll be interested in these games. All I'm looking for is that the contest is a fair one.
Right balance for both teams.
Yeah, fair game for both
Good
teams.
idea. It's a good idea.
But
Thank you.
Aaqib, I think it's
But I'm thinking about
yeah, you're thinking the bigger picture.
it's going to happen or not.
Yeah,
Very deep.
dollar. Yeah, he's gone deep in terms of dollars and cents now.
David,
What?
it's a good thinking and great idea, but they're not going to.
I'm sorry, they're not going to listen.
They're not going to do that.
Well, to be fair, we'll be here in the studio at the time they should be playing. They won't start for 3 hours, but we'll be here probably. Okay, let's have a look at this. Let's continue looking into this performance. Very fine performance again by Pakistan. And focus on that opening partnership, because Babar and Rizwan have been in great form throughout. They're still obviously showing that good form. They battled through this first bit, as we said. They accelerated in their own different ways. I mean, this, Viv, look at this. I mean, this is, whoever you're playing against, this is lovely batting.
That is good. Especially they would have spent some time at the crease, so they were able to do that. And this is what it's about: being able to maintain their cool and their composure, and had a great opportunity to do it towards the back end. They would have played enough balls earlier. And I was also looking at some stats as well that this is their 10th partnership over 50 out of 19 innings. So which I think is remarkable. Yeah.
I think this is the 400 partnership.
Yes.
400.
Fourth, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
400
Between
partnership.
them?
Between them,
in T20
Yeah,
international, which is
that's-
very,
Which
very
is
fine
very
achievement.
good.
Within 1.5 years.
1.5 year, yeah.
So which is, it comes back to the saying that they do complement each other well.
Okay, right. Now this is where we need to pay attention. Through the phases, so balls faced by each batsman, and you've got obviously Babar on the left in that vivid mauve purpley colour, Rizwan on the right, sparkling in gold. But you can see how Babar got going early. Rizwan took his 10 balls to get his first run, and then this Babar keeps going, accelerates gently. I mean, I suppose the figures are skewed a little bit at the end by, 24 runs off the last over, which Rizwan took off J.J. Smith. But yes, if you hang around, you can do that sort of thing at the end of the innings.
That's what I'm saying. You don't panic. You trust yourself. You trust your talents, and they just did that because you've seen other teams before, especially when you have a few dot balls. All of a sudden, everything goes from here. You stop thinking, bang! It's either you're going to get something big going for 6, clearing the boundaries on a regular basis, or you're going to get a couple of wickets. And that,
I think it's an ideal conditions for Pakistan. It suits Babar and Rizwan. Every score is like 150, 60, 65, and it really suits this batting lineup. They might struggle when chasing down 200.
Yeah.
So I think it's ideal situation for them to hang around. Then Hafiz, they have given a role to him, go and play positive. Then stabilizer in between, Shoaib Malik, and then in the end, Asif can take the game away. But they have to be, when they're playing a stronger team, it has to be a little bit better to start with. Because in associate and smaller teams, they will have ballers, you can go after them. But if somebody have like 5 ballers like England or Australia, might be difficult.
Indeed. Well, in fact, the one
with
thing
this,
now, though,
with this method.
yeah, the one thing now is that the top 5 or 6 have all had time at the crease. Imad Wasim has had 1 innings, I think 11. Shadab Khan has not batted yet in the tournament. So if they do get into a problem game at any stage, obviously against England in the final, if they do get into a problem game and they lose a couple of wickets, then it's going to be a different ball game. But anyway, so far, very, very good, both from Pakistan today again and throughout the competition, and from the panel. But we're going to take a break. Game on Hay.